Hello, my name is Sage. I'm here to show my dear friend Rain how to adjust their hotbars so it doesn't look like all of this. So, first thing we're going to do, we're going to press start, go down to system, go over to HUD layout. And the way I like to do it is tracking. It doesn't really help a lot of people that get overwhelmed by a lot of this clutter, but the thing I like to do is find the thing specifically that I want to change. Click on it, drag it to where it wants to go, hit the cogwheel next to the current UI element thing, hit the party list drop down tab here, and drop it down to minimum size and adjust as necessary. If you want to seriously close out the clutter and do it like one category at a time, holding on basic shows everything. Going to system only shows things like your health bars, enemy list, alliance raids, target bars, maps, all that. So we're going to go ahead and move our scenario guide over here and drop that down to 60. We're going to take our new game plus guide, put it right next to it, and drop it down to 60. Duty list will go underneath. Readjust as necessary. Drop it down to 60. Map. 60. Adjust. Server info. 60%. Adjust as necessary. If things are too small, you can also pop it up to 80%. For a while, that's what I liked having my map. No, not that. My map at 80%. It's because it's just comfortable doing that. My parameters and experience drop down to 60. The big thing that gets a lot of people overwhelmed is the alliance raids. I like putting alliance raids right underneath my party list and dropping it down to 60% and adjusting as necessary. It just helps keep my parties all completely organized in one space. Same thing for my enemy list. It gets dropped down to 60. All I really need to see is the little red dot about whether or not something's targeting me. For my status info, I like to put it underneath my alliance list. Oh, right. So for status info, because there are technically 3 tabs, opening the UI element settings for status info will open up one for all 3 groups, which is enhancements, enfeeblements, and others. I like leaving others up here, but I will be adjusting the size. You don't have to worry about any of the like tabbing or whatever. Like any of these buttons you don't have to deal with if you don't want to. Displaying it as a single element just condenses all of your status effects onto a bar, so you can do that if you'd like and adjust as necessary, but I like keeping them split into groups, dropping them down to 60, and in order to move them you need to hit save, and adjusting them just underneath my alliance list, for at least these 2. So for group 2, just scroll down to enfeeblements, 60%, and adjust. Status info, I like putting down to 80 and adjusting right up here next to server info because it's really not important. My limit gauge, I like having at the very bottom, right underneath my experience bar, and dropping down to 60%. And condensing as necessary. Let's see, let's move this up here a little bit. My target bar, I only keep my target bar at 80 and move it up closer to the top of the my HUD here. And moving on to hotbars. You don't have to worry about any of the lines. The only thing we'll be worried about here is our cross hotbar. So for our cross hotbar, we're just going to do the same thing. Drop it all down to 60 and adjust. I like having the little golden line in the center of the two cross hotbars, right on the giant white line in the center of the screen. And that's that. You don't have to worry about any of these other hotbars except maybe Pet if you play Scholar or Summoner. You can drop that down to 60 and place it down here. I just realized that for my limit break and experience, I had it the other way around. Experience bar is at the very bottom. Limit gauge is right above it, almost overlapping, and parameter bar sits on top of it very neatly. Progress bar, you can adjust as necessary. I kind of just keep it in the center here so I know what action I'm doing, because normally this giant gray HUD layout window is not in my way. So we're just going to leave that alone. Go back over to hotbars and move this down just a tiny bit. When you get your class gauge, they will normally appear up here at max size. What I like to typically do is, honestly, I'm just gonna go up. I'm gonna go here, grab the progress bar for example, because I don't have a job gauge currently on my level 2 conjurer. So we're just going to use the progress bar for example. Click it, hit 60%, and hit save, and drag it down here, underneath my cross-out bar, just because it keeps it neat and nice and out of the way. Item help, you typically, I like keeping it 80 because sometimes it has important stuff that I need to read. Action help, same thing. I put it down to 80%. And have it align with the item help. Inventory grid. Sometimes if things are underneath some of the bigger windows, you would want to go down to the drop-down menu and select inventory grid. Drop that down to 80. And adjust as necessary. Skill, same thing. Down to 80 and adjust as necessary. Main menu, you're never going to see it. Progress bar, we'll actually default that. Put it back. And for duties, duty actions would be for the things like the action that you get during the Lakshmi fight, or when you're in Bozia, or Eureka, and you have your lost actions. You can just keep those here. I don't really like touching it. It's the only thing that ever gets seen, minus the duty gauge. Keep that there. And that's it for your overall HUD. And it keeps everything nice and condensed. Chat, you can actually just move on your own. You can resize the windows on the fly. And if the font is a little too big, you can go here, go down to log details. Make sure you are on the right channel that you want to be editing and change the font. I like keeping my fonts for general chat at 14. Battle, I like keeping it at 12. Same thing for event. And on my main, I like having a 4th channel for all of my system info that I have here, which only displays like server announcements and stuff like that. And that's kind of all there is. And that's it. Never mind. We're gonna make that we're gonna make the progress bar a bit smaller. I did not realize that was so big. I'm gonna drop that down to 80. So now, or if you really feel like you need to, you can adjust it and make it 60% and keep it somewhere out of the way. I never realized how actually big that was until I actually went and edited it. That's much better. That's out of the way. It's not taking up a 1/4 of my screen. And that's it. That's kind of all that you need. Yeah. Thank you for watching. I hope this little bit helped. It's kind of a repetitive click on window, adjust as necessary, and resize as necessary type deal. But, like, thank you all for watching, and goodbye.